Have you ever wondered if humans really only use 10% of their brain's capacity? This question has sparked curiosity and debate for decades, fueled by a fascinating myth that suggests we only tap into a mere fraction of our brain's potential. But where did this myth originate? And more importantly, is there any truth to it? The origins of the 10% brain usage myth are somewhat murky. Some attribute it to the early 20th century psychologist William James, who suggested that people only meet a small portion of their mental potential. However, he never specified a percentage. Others point to the 1936 self-help book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, where a misquote of James's idea first appeared. Regardless of its origins, the idea that we use only 10% of our brains is simply incorrect. Scientific research has shown that virtually every part of the brain has a known function. This was confirmed through neuroimaging studies, which make it possible to monitor the activity of the human brain. These scans reveal that even during sleep, all parts of the brain show some level of activity. Furthermore, our brains are divided into several regions, each responsible for different functions. For example, the frontal lobes are involved in decision-making and problem-solving, while the occipital lobe processes visual information. The cerebellum coordinates movement, and the temporal lobes handle auditory input and are key to the formation of memories. If we were to use only 10% of our brains, we would struggle with most daily activities and cognitive functions. In fact, damage to even a small area of the brain can result in significant cognitive and physical impairments, further illustrating that each part of the brain serves a crucial purpose. Therefore, the notion of unused parts of the brain is fundamentally flawed. So, it's clear that we use more than just 10% of our brains, but how much of our brain's full potential are we really tapping into? That's a question for the next chapter of our exploration. What if I told you that the human brain's storage capacity is equivalent to approximately 2.5 petabytes or 1,000,000 gigabytes? That's right, our brains are incredibly powerful, capable of storing vast amounts of information. This estimation comes from scientists who have studied the brain's neural networks. They've calculated that each of the 100 billion neurons in our brain can connect with about 7,000 others, creating an intricate web of connections. But how exactly is this storage capacity calculated? Well, it's based on the total number of neurons in the brain and the number of possible synapses each neuron can make. Synapses are the points of communication between neurons, and it's through these synapses that neurons send and receive signals. Each of these signals or pieces of information takes up a tiny bit of storage space in our brains. When you add up all these pieces of information across all our neurons and their synapses, you get an impressive total of around 2.5 petabytes. But what does this actually mean in terms of our brain's capabilities? To put it into context, 1 petabyte is equivalent to over 200,000 DVDs worth of data. So, our brain's storage capacity is roughly equal to over 500,000 DVDs. That's more than enough to store every word ever spoken by humans. And if we compare our brain's capacity to technological storage devices, it's like having about 250,000 high-end smartphones worth of storage space in our heads. Or, to put it another way, it's about the same as the entire digital content of the Library of Congress, times 20. Now, keep in mind that these are rough estimates and the brain's capacity can vary greatly from person to person. But still, it's mind-boggling to think about the sheer amount of information our brains are capable of holding. So, with such an immense capacity, how can we tap into it to the fullest? It's important to understand that using 100% of your brain doesn't mean thinking harder, but thinking more efficiently. Diving into this concept, we first encounter the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle. You see, our brain is an energy-intensive organ, using up to 20% of the body's total energy. Therefore, what we eat, how we sleep, and our level of physical activity directly impact our brain's performance. A balanced diet, Ample sleep and regular exercise essentially fuel our brain, keeping it in top shape. Next, we explore the realm of mental exercises. Just as your body needs regular workouts to stay fit, your brain also requires its own kind of training. Activities that challenge your brain, like solving puzzles, learning a new language, or playing a musical instrument, can stimulate neural growth and improve cognitive function. Remember, your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Continuous learning is another fundamental aspect of maximizing brain function. Our brains are designed to learn, and their plasticity allows them to adapt and change. Every time we learn something new, we create new connections between our neurons. This not only enhances our knowledge, but also keeps our brains active and healthy. Finally, we shouldn't overlook the role of emotional well-being. Stress, anxiety, and negative emotions can impair our cognitive abilities. On the other hand, positive emotions and a good mental state can boost brain function. Practices such as mindfulness and meditation can help manage stress levels and promote mental well-being. So it's not about straining your brain to use a mythical 100%. It's about nurturing your brain, providing it with the right conditions to function optimally, and engaging it in activities that promote growth and resilience. So, maximizing your brain's potential isn't about unlocking hidden capabilities, but about optimizing the capabilities you already have. To summarize, the notion that we use only 10% of our brains is nothing more than a myth. It's a misconception that's been perpetuated by popular culture, but science tells us otherwise. We've delved into the remarkable capacity of the human brain, a marvel of nature that's capable of storing vast amounts of information and juggling countless processes at once. We've also explored how to maximize brain function. It's not about discovering some secret compartment of untapped brain power, but rather about optimizing the functions we already have. This involves staying mentally active, learning new things, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and providing our minds with the right nourishment. It's about harnessing the full potential of what our brains are already capable of doing. And while we may not have superhuman abilities, we do have the power to continually learn, grow, and improve. Remember, using 100% of your brain is about optimizing its functions, not unlocking hidden superpowers. Keep learning, stay active, and nourish your brain to achieve your full potential.